Hi, this is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And you're listening to Unexplained Arkansas, a new podcast that explores urban legends, mysteries, and the unsolved in the natural state.
We're just two best friends discussing the unexplained in Arkansas.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. This is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And we are on our 6th episode today.
6. Lucky number 6.
Did you say 6?
6.
Oh, okay.
You said 6.
Okay. Yeah, I know,
6.
but okay, never mind. All right.
What'd you say?
So, I said 6 too, but I thought you said something else. Never mind.
No.
My mind's in the gutter. Okay.
Gutter mind.
Yes. Okay. So today we're going to just kind of get started. We're going to flip-flop our usual show where we talk about our personal stuff at the end. So we're going to go ahead and get started with today's person that we're going to talk about. And this has actually been one of my most favorite ones to research. I went all the way to Newport this morning to find her grave. So it was really cool. Yeah.
Grave and yard.
Well, I had you on I had Lisa on FaceTime, and I'm sure that was fun for you. So I couldn't find it. I can never, unless I know exactly where they're at, I can never find anyone specific in a graveyard. No.
I won't even go into like when we did the Boys on the Tracks, that the Bryant Cemetery where the boys are literally had 20,000 bodies in it, and I was like,
oh wow,
sorry, like can't do it. The kids were in the car. Daryl has the patience of like nothing.
A gnat. Yeah.
It's like,
well,
sorry. Not happening.
I had my kids too. I had 2 with me today. So it was a really quick get out, take a picture, and get back in. But we'll tell you all about that here in just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get rolling. So for our 6th episode, we chose the mysterious Aunt Caroline or Caroline Dye of Newport. And if you've never been to Newport, it is about, it's about 82 miles north of Little Rock and about 45 minutes from here, from our town of Searcy.
It
was found. Yeah, I thought it was longer, but it really didn't take that long to get there. It was founded in 1870 after Jacksonport refused to give. Well, let me back up. Jacksonport was another place I had never been to. I never really think about Jacksonport. Well, I hadn't either till this week. Jacksonport is actually right next to Newport. Jacksonport is a very old town. I did visit the old city hall and the Jacksonport, the Jacksonport Museum and State Park. We went to all of that. So it was really cool. It's right by the White River, and I took some pictures because I know eventually we will do an episode on the White River Monster. Mm-hmm. I think somebody had called in about that one, so eventually we will do that one. So I went ahead and took some pictures of the river while I was there. It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But Newport was founded actually in 1870 after Jacksonport. Jacksonport was first, but they refused to give what is now the Union Pacific Railroad permission to build a bridge over the White River. So therefore it was named Newport. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Got it.
So Jacksonport was the seat of the county, and then eventually Newport became the seat. And that happened.
So Newport kind of took over?
Yes,
oh, okay.
Yes. And I didn't know any of that. It was so cool.
Is Jacksonport still a city? Like, is it its own city?
Okay. Yes. And the sign says Historic Jacksonport.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
It's gorgeous. And I mean, there was a lot of fishermen there.
Nice.
Yeah. There was a lot of fishermen there today. And just full disclosure, this is my 2nd trip there this week. I actually went twice. My mother and I drove up there for a different case. And I didn't go to the museum or any of that. I went to that today. But we did go downtown in Newport. And it's just really awesome. There's a lot of Arkansas history in Jackson County. So we actually have 2 cases. Well, actually 3. We have 3 cases that we will be talking about in the coming weeks that center in Jackson County. It'll be this one that we're talking about today, the White River Monster, and then the other, what we're calling the other Boys on the Tracks. So all of those kind of center in that Jackson County area.
So stay tuned, Jackson County listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is a lot of history up here that I didn't know existed. And you know me, I'm a history buff. So, Newport has a population of 8,005. And it is actually the transition point between the Ozark foothills and the Delta. And I didn't know that either, because, I love Memphis and that area, and, I love blues and Delta blues and all of that. But somehow I did not know that. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. And tell them kind of the Ozark, like kind of what that means if they're not from Arkansas.
The Ozark region, well, it's a mountain region, and it starts about the Joy Rosebud area. And the further up you go, the more into the Ozarks you go. But it's a mountain range that is in the northern part of Arkansas.
And it goes into Missouri. And if people have ever watched Netflix, The Ozark, what's that show called?
I think it's
Don't
just
even get me
Ozark.
started. Ozark, yeah. Then the
I got
Ozark
about
kind of
2 seasons.
Yeah,
I did 2 seasons of it.
It's rough. Daryl watched it. I kind of finished it. The ending was good, but I couldn't do the middle. Anywho, yes, the mountain range kind of goes all, upper Arkansas, Missouri. So
yeah. So this is where the Ozark foothills meet the Delta. So I thought this was really cool. It's kind of the transition point. So another thing that I found really interesting about Newport was that the town used to be the center of the freshwater pearl. And I had no idea. My mother told me that, and then I read it in the Encyclopedia of Arkansas. But yeah, from 1900 to 1920, that was the main source of freshwater pearls for jewelry and buttons and things like that. And in fact, Newport is the home of a really big pearl button industry.
I will say, obviously they're not real, but I do love how the jewelry craze right now is incorporating the gold and the pearl look.
Oh, I do like that too.
You
got me pearl earrings for Christmas and a Cujo book. and the coffee mug.
And the headband that match. So you'll have to take
the headband.
Picture.
Yeah.
No, the other headband.
Oh, you got me too. Yeah. This is the one I'm wearing today. So I always wear a headband, and I don't know why. It's just because
your headband's leopard and my PJs are leopard. I'm wearing PJs, right. People.
Yes.
It's 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Let's not discuss it. Okay.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about Mrs. Caroline Dye from Newport, Arkansas. So she was born, Caroline Tracy Dye, and she was born around 1810. There's actually mixed accounts of her parents, of her birth, and of her childhood. Lisa, I know you've read about this a little too. So anything you want to add to that? Because I didn't see a whole lot. It does not name who her parents might be, or I didn't find it. But from all accounts, she was born in South Carolina, and she was born into slavery.
Yes.
Now, she came up in the 1880 federal census records as being 27 in 1880. So that would put her birth year at 1853. But her tombstone records her age in 1918 as being 108. And that was the tombstone that we found today. And let me just tell you, it was interesting. I've seen a lot of tombstones. We've been to a lot of cemeteries. And this is the first one I've seen that had a bottle of bourbon. Was it bourbon or whiskey? Or is that the same thing? Yeah, it was.
I have no idea.
The picture is going to be. The picture is going to be on Facebook, but there was a bottle of liquor and there was a deck of cards that had been laminated. So somebody took the time to laminate all the cards and some flowers and all that. It was so cool. And I was like, wow. But it looked like somebody had taken a few drinks of the alcohol, but then put the bottle back. But I'd never seen that. I'm like, this is like Edgar Allan Poe, the alcohol on the grave. I thought that was very cool.
I wonder, in your research, did you find any reason for the alcohol, or was there like a tie to it, or maybe they were just, is that like just a Just a sense of like camaraderie or something? I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
if anyone wants to leave me when I die, leave me a frozen Coke at my grave.
Frozen Coke.
Not bourbon. Or whiskey.
Well, she sure had it on her grave, and I didn't touch it. I didn't touch anything. I just took some pictures, and she
allegedly.
No, I really did. And she is buried in Gum Grove Cemetery, which is in Newport, Jackson County. And according to the record, if you look it up on Find a Grave, it says she was 108. So we don't know. We really don't know. Yeah, we do not know.
And that's so sad that they didn't, I don't know, that the records weren't kept and anyway. Yeah. And that her name would like pretty much just came from her like owners because she was owned. It's just sickening, but anyway. It's crazy.
Well, I think she may have dropped the Tracy name and just went by Caroline Dry or not Die. But let's go back a step. So she was born in Spartanburg, South Carolina on a farm owned by the William Tracy family. So that's where her surname Tracy came from. She actually became aware of her own clairvoyance as a child. She started to see things in the corners of her eye, like her peripheral vision, that other people could not see. So
interesting.
Yeah. As a child, she predicted a visit from a relative, and it was a relative of the Tracys. And I've heard two different accounts of this. One account is it was just a relative. Another account says it was Tracy's son, so I don't know which one is correct. But regardless, they thought that this man was dead. And it was Thanksgiving, and according to legend, she set out a place for him and insisted that he was coming home, and he did.
Wow. So, and they thought he was dead?
Yeah.
Wow.
But she said, no, he's coming for Thanksgiving. So that was the first real instance that people started taking notice of her clairvoyance.
And so if your kid told you that, or a kid, you'd be like, let's go play some, like, betting game.
Yeah. I mean, she knew somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So she moved with the Tracy family then after the death of William Tracy. Did I say that? William Tracy died, and then everything was left to his wife, the land, all that. So apparently they moved, though. They moved from their home in South Carolina to a place called Rosie, Arkansas. And I didn't know about this place either. But it's in that general area. After the Civil War, all of the slaves in the Tracy estate were freed, thank goodness. And she, went on to live a very different life. But while she was still with the Tracys, she had a daughter named Hannah. So then she moved after the Civil War, she moved to Elgin, and I hope I'm saying that right. And because I know I wasn't saying Diaz right, because I was saying Diaz, but it's Diaz. So, but I'm learning all the towns in that area. And she married a man named Martin Dye. And that was in 1867. And they had a child, Mary. But unfortunately, the child died at 11 months. So that's very sad. Yeah.
That is sad. That's horrible. Yeah. Did it say why? Or
no, it didn't. Not that I could find. But according to the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, they did raise several children that weren't theirs. Yeah, they took in other people's children. And Martin, I think, had some children. She did get to raise children. Now, it doesn't say what happened to her daughter, Hannah, either. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to speak on that. I just know that all three of my sources said that the child Mary had died. So, yeah.
But that's also so nice that they took on kids that needed a home.
Yeah, it really is. She sounded like she was, just a very unselfish person that took care of everybody. I mean, the more I read about her, the more that's what I think. She also helped the mentally ill. So she was known to help people that had mental illness and things like that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how did she become famous is the next question. Yes. So why are we talking about her today?
How is she in Wikipedia?
Yes, exactly. Well, she moved to Newport after Elgin, and it was there that I guess she started reading for people. And when I say reading, I mean she used a deck of playing cards and somehow read for people,
like their futures
or whatever, using the playing card. Now there is several accounts that say she never called herself a fortune teller or a seer. All of that, all those names came up with by the townspeople of Newport and around the surrounding area because she was very, very famous. John Quincy Wolfe Jr., who is a famous folklorist here in Arkansas, said that within a 400-mile radius, Aunt Caroline was as famous as Woodrow Wilson. Wow. And from everything I've read, I think that's 100% true.
Wow.
And really... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And it did say that... Didn't it say that she didn't do it for money. She just did it to help people, right?
She never took donations.
Wow. Okay. So she was just helping people.
All right. Well, she never took, no. Let me take that back. She never asked for payment, but she did take donations. So she never asked for payment. You didn't have to pay her to get a reading. Now, I will say this, she cooked in her home and they sold meals from her home because there were so many people that flocked to her house to get a reading. She was so famous that she became one of the most famous clairvoyants that Memphis people would use, people that lived in Memphis. And so many people
explain how close that is, because people know Memphis.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay, here's a geography question I wasn't prepared for. Let's see.
Well, and I know,
would you say an hour and a half by car?
I would
think
so.
2 hours. Yeah,
I would think max because I know, if Newport's maybe 40, 50 minutes for us, maybe, and we would drive through Newport to get to St. Louis, where I'm from. But anyway, and my grandmother did read cards, but she did it for money. Just saying.
Oh, you're going to say that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Lisa's grandmother also did that. Now, let me tell you this. Now, this is what's so crazy. This is how I even came up with this idea. I was watching the movie The Gift, and have you seen that?
I have, but it's been a long time ago.
Okay.
It's got that Cate Blanchett, right?
Yeah. So Scott and I were looking for something to watch while we took down the Christmas tree. This was really depressing. I'd seen it before, but it had been like 20 years since, I saw it last. I didn't remember half the stuff in it, but oh my gosh, it was so sad. But, the story behind The Gift is that a woman goes missing, played by Katie Holmes, and she's really cute in this movie, really cute, but she dies at the very beginning, and it's really horrific. And the girl Jessica or whatever in the movie, and there's no suspect, so they go to a clairvoyant, Miss Wilson, who's played by Cate Blanchett, and ask her for help. I mean, it's very Southern Gothic, but it has an Arkansas connection too. It was actually written by an Arkansan, 2 Arkansans, actually, not 1, 2. Billy Bob Thornton wrote it, and then Tom Epperson. And it's really good. It's rated R, and it's very R, so, beware. But you can tell that 2 people raised, in the Southern United States wrote that movie. I mean, it's
Did it
I like
have
the
a connection
cinematography.
To her? Or
what?
The Caroline?
No.
Did it have
That's just
okay.
No. That's just how I came up with the idea. So I started looking to see if there had been any people like that in Arkansas. And there's really not that many. There was actually what was called a spiritualism craze in the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s, that went into the 1900s. And I didn't know about this either. I remember vaguely, who's the Ghostbuster that believes in all the ghosts in real life too?
Oh, it's Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd. He believes in everything. Yeah.
Yes.
But his aunt.
Dad. Yeah. Remember his dad and his family? Like they have a background in, what did they, seances and that kind of thing?
Yeah. His aunts were like clairvoyants or did seances or something like that. So, yeah.
It was in his family. Yes.
Yeah. It was in his family. So, but anyway, not to get too much off track, but I just wondered what was going on in that time period in Arkansas, or if there was ever The Gift was actually, I think it took place in the 90s, but I was just looking to see if there was ever a time when there was somebody like a local seer or clairvoyant or something like that. And
well,
sure
maybe
enough, that's
Billy
how I found
Bob and Tom, whatever, Epperson.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Maybe they knew about Aunt Caroline. Maybe.
Maybe. Well, Billy Bob's, I think Billy Bob's mom did all that too.
Oh, okay. So, she was I
think she was
read cards or
I think she read cards or something like that. And I'll tell you, I know nothing about that, so I can't really speak on that. I don't know anything about it. But yeah, so it was really a thing, and there was a spiritualism craze going on, and it did reach Arkansas. Not like it did in the Northeast, but there was a lot of that going on. I mean, heck, even Abraham Nancy, that's Reagan. Abraham Lincoln's wife, Mary Todd Lincoln.
Mary Todd.
She was a known spiritualism person. So.
Yes, and would make him she would tell him to go to reading or seances or whatever they call them.
Yeah. So it was really, I don't want to say a fad because that's probably the wrong word to use, but it was really in fashion back in that day. That all that kind of stuff, the seances,
like keto and jazzercise,
like keto and jazzercise. Those are the two you go to. Oh yes. My gosh. Yeah, or Taibo. That was a phase. Yeah,
Taibo.
But yeah, so this was smack dab in the middle of the spiritualism craze in our nation. So I just had an interesting thought, and then I started thinking about that dude on the Taibo infomercials. Okay,
what's his name?
I don't remember.
Billy? Was it Billy Bryant?
I was thinking it was Billy. Yeah, it was Billy with the Taibo.
Okay.
Okay, so she was in Newport, but she was very well known all around the Mid-South and Memphis. She had lots of clients. There was actually, they named, and this was just a nickname, but there was a nickname for the train that went from Memphis to Newport called the Caroline Dice Special, because so many people from
were going
to see her. Yeah.
Wow.
And like I said, she did not require payment, but she did take donations.
Yeah.
Now,
she had to make a living.
Yes, but this is what's so cool, what she did with it. She was a very, very savvy businesswoman. So, in fact, as in her readings or whatever, she would help local businessmen make decisions. So they would come to her and ask her about decisions. And then, of course, like I said, she sold food out of her house. So it was a business, and she made money. She would receive, in her heyday, she would receive 20 to 30 letters a day.
Oh, wow.
So all this money that she was collecting, she actually used it to invest. She invested in agriculture, farmland, real estate. She bought rental property. She purchased bonds to support World War I. And this is really cool. There is a local legend that there's buried gold around the Newport area. And it was from her that she buried gold. Now, I don't know anything else about that. Yeah, that she buried the gold. So...
Maybe people just go dig around.
Yeah. Well, maybe allegedly found, and he left her that bourbon on her grave. So there you go. That's what happened. It was like a thank you.
Thank you. I got a gold
that grave was, like I said, I've seen a lot of graves and tombstones, and that was probably one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. So
and we will. You'll post.
I'm gonna post all that. Yeah, my 2 little adventures down to Jacksonport this week. So
yes,
I like it. I like it up there. Yeah. Okay, so this is really funny. I just laughed out loud. But she would not do readings about love.
Ooh.
And the folklorist John Quincy Wolfe said, and I quote, "She turned away most of those who sought advice about sweethearts, wives, and husbands, telling them to work out their own problems."
She's a smart woman. She was a smart woman.
That's what I would have probably said too. So she didn't talk about love. She didn't want to talk about that. She did she did not want to talk about World War I either.
Okay.
During the heyday of all of this, World War I was going on, and so she would not talk about that either. Now
remind me, what year was that? Like, because I know the Second World War was in the 40s, but what is that? The early?
It was
1900s,
19 teens. It was
19 teens.
Yeah, it was in the teens.
Okay.
Yeah. So she never claimed that she talked to the dead. She didn't hold seances or anything like that. She never claimed that she talked to the dead. She would just read the cards.
Gotcha.
And she dressed very simply. And from what I read, she had a rocking chair on the back porch of her house that she enjoyed to sit in. And she'd just sit back there and rock. I thought that was cool. She's a very simple person. Now, she did help find missing people, missing livestock. She gave people directions for their life. Now, this is according to the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, she did predict the fire of 1926 in Newport, which I had no idea about that. But it was huge. There was a lot of people that died. Well, maybe it was a lot of houses that burned. Let me look. I took a picture of it because when I was in Newport today, I went to that museum and I took some pictures regarding the fire and the flood. They had a big flood too, and so they had a lot of
and they are right on the river. So
yeah, they're right on the river. Okay, here's the front page of that. More than 300 homes lost by fire. Okay. And this again was in
that's huge. Yeah. 300 people misplaced.
Yeah.
So she knew that was going to happen.
1926 is what she said, not to. Yeah. Well, no, the fire happened in 1926. She according to them the sources that she was said to have predicted that.
Okay, cuz she was already gone by then. Gotcha.
Yeah, and it doesn't say that I can't really read the actual article, but it says 1,500 people were made homeless. So I don't know how many people died. But that's an interesting story. That's a very, very... There are several interesting stories that I kind of wrote down, to kind of put on the back burner for later. Because there's just a lot of history there. And a lot of mystery.
Different stories with Newport.
Different stories with Newport. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. And just Jackson County in general. So, let's see. She also predicted the tail of Halley's Comet would strike the Earth in 1910 and cause major damage, but that one didn't come true. Okay. And then she predicted that there would be a killer tornado that would destroy, get this, Searcy, Kensett, Bald Knob, Beebe, all of those places. She said that they would all be destroyed by a tornado in 1915. And this caused 1915. And this kind of caused a panic, but then it didn't happen. But she later denied that she didn't say that. So it might have just been a rumor or something like that. So, but I thought
there was a huge, Searcy geographically, I think Searcy town, we're kind of in a valley because the hills are all around us. But there was a huge, horrible tornado just outside of Searcy in Judsonia in the 50s.
Yes, she was just about 35 years off.
She was.
But there was a tornado. Yeah, there was a tornado that destroyed a whole town. It didn't destroy Searcy, but it leveled Judsonia. Yes. And I think most of the buildings were demolished.
And Beebe got hit hard in 99.
That's right. They did. Yeah. So she was just a few decades off there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So another thing that I found really interesting about her is the fact that she had, a pretty huge following. She had lots of fans back in the day. And some of the people that really liked her were blues musicians and Delta blues musicians. Okay. And she became the subject of several songs some songs that are very, very famous.
And sing them.
Yeah. But now. Okay, so all right. So W.C. Handy is one of the people that wrote about her. And do you know who W.C. Handy is? Does the name sound familiar? No. Okay, no. It doesn't sound familiar. Well, I have Walking in Memphis, like on every other playlist I have, and so there's the part. Huh? Oh no, he didn't. He didn't. No, he didn't write that. That dude. That dude wrote that like decades later, but he's mentioned in Walking in Memphis.
He is.
Yeah, W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah. I got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Yeah, that's W.C. Handy. So if no one knows who that is. So anyway, but he wrote a lot of really great blues tunes. And one of them, St. Louis Blues, that he wrote, mentioned Aunt Caroline. And and then he had another one called Sundown Blues that also mentioned her and Newport.
Oh, okay.
So, wow. So she made it into song.
And isn't that am I thinking wrong? Isn't there like is it the, like on the way to Memphis from maybe through Newport, or maybe is it like the Rock and Roll Highway or something? Am I crazy?
Now,
or is that
I don't know.
I don't know.
I need to get out those hey, those maps I ordered us came in today.
Oh,
I got 3 and Bo stole one for his car. I said, "You don't even know how to read a map. Why are you taking that?" He's like, "I don't know. I just want a map in my glove box." But there's 2 left, one for me and you. So what I thought we would do is start mapping out all the places we've talked about, you know.
Oh,
so yeah.
That
and then
sounds
learn
perfect.
all these different places.
Maybe Bo watched that Leave the World Behind and was like, "Oh, I better get a map." No.
I want to watch him try to use the map. That would be funny. Yeah.
That would be funny.
But so when we first started this, I tried to find a map because I wanted us to have a huge map over here on this board that you brought me. I wanted a huge map of Arkansas, and I wanted to put little dots and, little notes and stuff and make it look all cool. And I couldn't find a map. I went everywhere. I went to the library, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I went to the post office.
I could get you one from First Security Bank. I think I
didn't
think the
know.
bank always puts one out. Anyway.
Well, I went to the post office, and I'm like, surely they have a map. And they're like, "Wait, ma'am, we haven't had maps in like a decade." And I'm like, "Well, okay then." And he said,
like,
"You may want to."
Looking at you crazy.
Yeah. Well, no, they're the ones that told me to, get one
Go
from
online.
the state tourism or something like that. So I did. I went online and I ordered 3, 1 for you and 2 for me. But of course, Bo got one. So.
Bo and his stealing of the maps.
Yes. That he can't read. I don't think anybody under the age of 30 can read a map. They might be able to, but I don't know.
I always wonder if they can read a real clock.
I don't know if my kids can. I don't know. That's a glittering generality because I'm sure there's some that can. Just not my kids.
Elle says she can. Elle says she knows how to read a clock, like the clock hands.
Mine have to think about it a minute before they can.
I think I have to think about it for a minute before.
Yeah, I kind of do too. Everything's been made so easy.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So W.C. Handy. I want to play that Memphis song as soon as the podcast is over because I love that song so much. Now I love it even more. Well, I'm a big Elvis person. Like Elvis is my person, and we're going to do an episode on Elvis in Arkansas. We just haven't really put that one together yet. Yes, because I love
Stay
Elvis.
tuned, people. We have tons of good content. Elvis.
Well, I told Bo that I was going to take him and his friend, his little girlfriend, to Graceland because she had never been.
She's never been?
So, and I feel like it's my duty to take everybody to Graceland that's never been. I haven't been since last year. I went February, March. Yeah.
That was fun.
I love it there. I've been, like 5 times at least.
That's awesome.
So, you've been a lot too.
I've been a lot. Yeah. Maybe 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 or 5 at least.
Yeah. So, but I've always had a soft spot for Memphis, everything about Memphis.
And remember, Elle was in that movie.
Oh, that's right. She was in that Hallmark movie in Memphis.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And the
That's funny.
The next story that I'm going to be leading on the podcast will actually be a Memphis story. It'll take place in Memphis and Stuttgart. So we'll have another Memphis connection. But let's go back to W.C. Handy.
Yes.
So I wanted to tell you a little bit about the lyrics to Sundown Blues. He says,
Which was about the Caroline, right?
Well,
Caroline.
she has a verse in it.
Okay.
To her, dedicated to her. He said, "I'm going to Newport, Arkansas. I'm going there to see Aunt Caroline die. Why, she's a reader and I need her. She reads your fortune and the cards don't lie." So,
cool.
Yeah. And then
that's why people put playing cards on her grave.
That's why
that are laminated.
Somebody went to the trouble to laminate those things, and I have to say, wow, that was nice. So
that's devotion.
Okay. That is devotion, and I looked at, and I don't know about the price of liquor or anything like that, but it looked like a pretty expensive bottle. So, and I kind of thought, dang, I'm visiting her, and I didn't bring anything because I always try to show up with like a cheese tray or like a pie. Like I brought that pie the other night, we didn't even eat it. Is it still in your freezer?
I put it in my freezer because I was like, oh man, we were not even going to be home. So
yeah,
we need to break that out.
I know we can do that.
Tomorrow's
later this
New Year's
weekend.
Eve.
We'll just break out the pie. But yeah, so I don't like to go empty-handed.
Pie party.
So I looked at all that stuff on her grave because I forgot there was also 2 coins on the top of it too.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I'm like, dang, I didn't bring you anything. So,
I'm sorry, Aunt Caroline.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So if I ever go back, I'll bring something because that was pretty cool. It did remind me of Edgar Allan Poe because you know that I'm like a fangirl of Edgar Allan Poe, and people put flowers and. Yeah,
not like that, but I would love to go to his grave. Yes.
Oh, I taught it in school. Like I taught it with my 8th graders, and we would like go all out and do nothing but Edgar Allan Poe for a month because I love it. So
just love it.
Yeah. So let's see where we at. Okay. So so this is where things get a little bit. Oh, wait, one more thing. I did want to say that by the year of her death, her estate was valued at over $100,000.
Oh wow!
In 1918, and I know you probably
and this woman was a slave, so that is amazing. That is just that. Oh, she was a boss lady. She is the original really boss lady.
She really, really was, and so that's why that's why she has a Wikipedia page. Yeah, and I mean, she just looks like awesome sauce. Just the picture. I love this little picture of her. There's like 1 or 2 floating around, but there's this one of her in her dress, and she just looks like I'm in charge. Y'all sit down, because she just looks like a boss lady. So I love it. So she did have an estate of over 100,000.
Wow.
Now, so that was pretty good. So after her death, I think is when things became a little bit skewed, and they started using phrases like hoodoo and conjure and things like that. But I don't think she was actually into hoodoo. I might be wrong, but I've read a couple of different things in a couple of different sources. But I pulled an actual definition of what hoodoo is. And so hoodoo, not to be confused with voodoo, is a religious tradition created by enslaved African Americans in the United States and inspired by Central and West African religious practices. The practices include herbal healing, counterclockwise circle dancing, water immersion, sacred music, spirit possession, all kinds of things, and using charms for spiritual protection against physical harm. All of these things, I didn't really read about any of that in my sources, so I don't I don't know though, but because there was an article where they called her the Hoodoo Woman of Newport, but I don't know if she was or not. I think she was just a clairvoyant, or that's what people called her. I don't think they called her a hoodoo woman or a conjurer. It made me think of that movie that I really loved. Remember that movie that I loved, Skeleton Key?
Oh,
we went to see that. Yeah.
Key. Yes.
I remember we went to see that either right before your wedding or right before mine. I don't remember. But I went back and saw it at the theater like twice. I went once by myself after I saw it that first time. Because
it's a good one.
Oh, it is. I love New Orleans. I love anything that has to do with Louisiana, New Orleans. My husband always laughs at me because I love it so much. He was down there a few days ago, and I was so mad at him. He was down there for work. And he just sent me a picture. What?
I love, Cafe Du Monde gets the big plug, but we found for beignets, Cafe Beignet was
nice.
The cat's meow. That's what we like. I will take a cafe au lait and some beignets right now. But it does look like, at least according to Wikipedia, that Caroline, it just says that she would utilize the Bible and that she did believe in God. So
yes, so that's why I don't want to be quick to, not that there's anything wrong with the hoodoo religion at all, but I mean, I don't think that's what she did, because practitioners of hoodoo use minerals and plant life and herbs, bodily fluids, all that kind of stuff. Do you remember
bodily fluids?
Well, I don't know. That's just what this Medium article says.
Does that mean urine?
I have no idea. It could be spit. Could be blood. Heck, I don't know. But okay, so when we went to see Exorcist Believer a few weeks ago, remember there was she was doing root works, which is I think maybe in the same line or whatever. So, that is a really interesting thing. And, there's a lot to read about that in folklore. And, I've just kind of, touched the surface on that. So, but I mean, we weren't there. We don't know exactly, what she was called, but, I know that she was called a seer. I think that was pretty much the consensus of her. Now, there was a song by another not Memphis, but Delta blues artist named Johnny Temple. And one of the verses, a part of the song says, "Well, I'm going to Newport just to see Aunt Caroline die. She's a fortune teller. Oh Lord, she sure don't tell no lie." And the song was called Hoodoo Women. So,
Hoodoo Women?
Yeah. So that may have been where that came from. So
isn't there a voodoo? What am I thinking?
There's a voodoo song too. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah. I keep thinking of, it was it's something. We'll find it. So
we'll circle back.
Yeah, circle back. But yeah, so I thought this was really interesting. I thought, it was a good history lesson, and I learned a lot about the Jackson County area, Newport, and like I said, I have 2 more cases in that area, and I'll probably learn some more. I'm really excited about the White River Monster. I'm excited about the other boys on the tracks, because we are going to dig deeper into that. We have some new sources. Somebody stopped me in the grocery store the other day and she's like, "Hey, I saw that post." As they should. Yes. She said, "I saw that post and my father-in-law told me about that story." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I'm trying to get some more information about the other boys on the tracks.
The other boys.
Boys. And this happened in the 20s.
Yes,
and it was kind of the same. It had some of the same characteristics. It was 2 young boys in their teens laid side by side on the railroad track, and the conductor saw them but couldn't stop. So, and their mother had them buried in a double gravestone. I think it's somewhere in that Possum Grape, Newport area. So
Possum Grape, people. Possum Grape. So
that's a beautiful area.
And it's about possums and grapes, you think, right?
I don't know.
How did that get? We will explore how that got its name eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, so that was my little adventure, and it was a lot of fun. So
that sounds like, well, and I got to experience it through the FaceTime today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did.
Remember? You FaceTimed me.
Remember.
And that was fun. So how did she pass? Sorry, I have questions.
Now that I don't. Yeah, I was going to say, what's your questions, man? It doesn't say how she passed, but if she really was 108, there's really no telling.
Old age.
But we don't know.
We don't know. Gotcha. And she lived in Newport, and I think that wrapped it up for me too, or as far as my questions. I guess it didn't really.
I'll post everything.
Okay.
I'll post everything tonight after I put this one on the line, as you say.
On the line.
On the Spotify.
And we need to tell people, so gosh, we've had so much outreach.
It's been really fun.
Tell them we have a listener, at least one, in Germany and Italy. So if
there's another one, and I don't remember if it was Poland or Hungary. I don't know.
It should be Hungary because Hey, if you are from these places, please drop us a message or an email. Send us an email. So that is so awesome.
I think we're both tired tonight because we're slower than we usually are. And then so we're just kind of looking at each other like, are you going to talk or am I going to talk? Yeah,
I'm like in
and
PJs.
We've got one more to go because tonight's a double feature. So
don't tell
go
them.
Get it.
Don't.
Oh yeah. So it's a different case, but we're gonna record 2 tonight. So go get your snack and get ready, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to snack. But you people need to please continue to reach out to us. We're really enjoying that and giving us all kinds of good leads. And listen to our other episodes. This is gonna be our 6th episode. So there are 5 other ones that are amazing that you need to go listen to, and tell them where all they can hear us and connect with us. Hit it, Amber.
Spotify, Amazon, let's see, where else? iHeart. Yes. Apple, all the things. We're pretty much everywhere. So pick everywhere your favorite podcast. Everywhere. Yeah. That makes me think of the Fleetwood Mac song. Oh. You kept sending me Stevie Nicks memes this week.
You love Stevie Nicks.
I do love Stevie Nicks. I channel Stevie Nicks. Yes, I do. I still want her Barbie doll. I have not gotten that yet.
She has a Barbie doll?
She does have a Barbie doll, and I really want it. I told Scott to get me that for Christmas. Of course, he forgot. So, yeah. But he did get me this brand new microphone.
Are you listening? Yeah. What is it coming? Valentine's Day will be here before we know it.
Oh, that's right. That'll be a good Valentine's Day present. Yes. Yeah. I wanted that in a little Friends Polly Pocket where it has the Central Perk downstairs and then Monica's apartment upstairs. I'm a big Friends fanatic, too. Yes. But, so... He did get me this microphone, so that's why I sound so much better on this episode.
You sound amazing.
He's like, Amber, I love you, but you don't sound as well as Lisa does. And I said, well, fine. So he got me this microphone, and it's top of the line.
Well, we determined that because your other mic that you had, I actually got that same mic, but yours had been through the ringer because of the...
Okay, so my son is a musician, and if anybody, has ever followed me on Facebook, I post things that he plays like all the time. And the Facebook, yeah. But he is a gifted musician, and so I bought all this equipment for him that we're using for the podcast. And of course, he's all into baseball and school and driving now and his girlfriend. So he really doesn't have time to record any music. He's busy, but he was actually playing some blues this morning. And I said, I love that. And I said, hey, you need to go with me to Newport to do this stuff. And he actually went with me. So he went with me today. So, but, anyway, so that's all I've got.
Okay.
That's all I have. So,
stay tuned. Stay tuned, people. Keep listening. Keep listening. And review us. Rate us. Rate, review, share.
Rate, review, share. Rate, review, share. Yes. Cool. All right. We will see you guys at the next episode. Y'all take care.
Peace out. Love ya.